All right, so our next set of vocabulary is going to be on equilateral triangles. So an equilateral triangle is a triangle with three congruent sides, like this, okay? An equiangular triangle is a triangle with three congruent angles, something like this. An equilateral triangle theorem puts basically those two things together. If a triangle is an equilateral, then it's equiangular. So if all the sides are equal, then all the angles are equal as well. So here, for example, you really have to focus on, let's say solve for y. Okay, let's say that's the question. And what you're going to go ahead and do is you really have to pay attention to your little hash marks, right? Your angles, or if the sides are equal, you're paying attention to all of those. So what we're going to do here, and I'm going to actually give you a tip on working with solving fractions. Because these two angles are equal, then those sides across from them are equal as well. Or you can use a theorem that because all the angles are equal, then it's an equilateral, so all the sides have to be congruent as well. Okay, for this particular question, when you have fractions like this, which I know not a lot of students like to work with, one thing that makes it a little bit easier is to just get rid of the fractions altogether. Now, this only works whenever you're solving for a problem, right? When you have an equal sign in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at your denominators 10 and 5, and you're going to ask yourself, what is the LCD? Well, the LCD of 10 and 5 is what number is the smallest number that they both go into. So they both go into 10. So my LCD is 10. So I'm going to multiply the whole entire problem, every single term, both sides, by 10. So when I go to multiply here by 10, the 10s would actually cancel out, and I would just be left with 3y. So I'm going to do 10 times 9 is going to be 90. When I do 10 times 4 over 5, think of it as division. 5 goes into 10 two times, so my 10 would cancel out and I would have a 2 there, so it'd be 8y. Again, if you're not sure about that, let me write that out to the side. What I did here was 4/5 times 10. This is like 10 over 1, and I take a 5 out of both of those, if you needed more explanation on that. And then 10 times -1 is -10. When you do this, when you're working with fractions and it's a solving question with an equal sign, multiply by the LCD. And now I have a problem that looks like all the other problems that we're used to solving. I no longer have fractions. I have some numbers that are a little bit easier to work with. Okay, if you love fractions and you're good with keeping them the way they are, that's fine. I do think that this is less time consuming, this method, because we just tend to be able to do it a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and start solving now. I'm going to subtract 3y on both sides. Now I'm going to add 10 on both sides. And then I'm going to divide by 5. And I'm going to get y is 20. I'm going to go back and reread my question, which I said is solve for y. And I have just solved for y. Y is 20. Okay. Now you guys have a problem to do. Again, remember, make sure that you're getting it correct. Your homework is posted on your Nearpod. You're only doing numbers 4 through 11, okay? And that's it for today for 7.2.